Hello, namaste, welcome everyone to the Self-Help Detox Daily. I am your host, McNicholl. I am feeling so energized today. I've just got a serious download of energy just there now, and it's all because of what's going on. What is happening on the planet, what is happening in our collective, what is happening with us individually. And I was feeling okay just before I come on, and then I just got a burst of energy, and there was some fun technology things happening there. But today is going to be very, very special, exciting show. I can't wait to share with you a little surprise. Well, maybe not so much of a surprise now because we put it out there today, but today we're going to be sharing with you the exciting news of our expansion in the New Earth Mystery School, and I'll be sharing with you the first mentor who shall be taking us forward into New Earth Mystery School 2, which begins with a free enrollment event on the 30th of March, which is this Saturday. 555-333 New Earth Mystery School. We are one, remember. So if this is the first time you're watching the show, please like, love, share the video, share the abundance. This is the Self-Help Detox Daily. This is my life journey, my life path, where I discovered there was nothing external to me that could fix me, change me, or heal me, because I didn't need to be fixed, changed, or healed. I needed to reveal and remember the truth of who I am and who I was and who we all are, which is whole and complete and one now. The self-help detox is detoxifying yourself from the belief that you need to change, that you're not worthy, that you need a guru, that you need a master, that you need a diet, that you need anything external to you. You are whole and complete as you are now. We remember this together. We support and empower people to remember this. And that's what we're here for today. Today, we have the New Earth Mystery School mentorship program has been launched today, and I'm so excited. This is a huge moment for me in my life because if many of you have felt or have heard my story for some time, the control and the wanting to do everything myself and all of these things that I've talked about lots of times, the New Earth Mystery School has been such an amazing way for me to let go of a lot of that, and this is the next step of that. So bringing in amazing, talented, connected, beautiful people to support us on this next wave as we expand, to support the people, to bring unique gifts, and to really expand. This is what it is. It's really about expansion. It's moving us into a new state, because not only New Earth Mystery School, the whole planet is expanding. Everyone is expanding, and we need support, and we need people who we trust, and we need people who have unique gifts, for we all have unique gifts. So it's time now to do that and come into communities and come together and support each other and be the change that we wish to see, because so much of the world is fragmented and separated into class and hierarchy and all of these things, and this is emerging back, coming back. So the whole family of the New Earth Mystery School are mentors, teachers, way showers, authors, leaders, healers. And what we are doing here is there's a few people that are going to actually going to support me by offering very specific gifts that they're going to be bringing. So the first one today is my sister, Suzanne Amara Mackinnon. She is a vibrational alchemist, and she combines traditional and grounded approaches to self-awareness with new energy technologies, which are arising in the earth consciousness. Now, she has created the Light Evolutionary to share her journey through writing, speaking, light language, and creating experiential group spaces for awareness and understanding of the ascension process. That, and she's an amazing human being, and she is going to come and speak with us very nice. Very. Hello, my sister. Welcome, Suzanne. How are you doing?
Good. The energy is unbelievable.
Oh my God. Before we come on, I was fine. And then about 20 seconds before the video, something happened with the video, and then whoosh, I had to get up. I just felt it. And you were feeling it before, but oh my God. So welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for coming. This is a very exciting day for us as NEMS family. Introducing and announcing you as the first mentor, the mentorship program within New Earth Mystery School. So, how are you feeling?
Wow, I feel completely honoured and humbled by the process, um, by this whole thing. You know, I still have to pinch myself every day because I've stepped in the space of 2 months. I've stepped from a pretty good life into a super abundant, amazing life where I'm fully expressed. I'm doing what I do. I'm doing what I love. I'm fully passionate about. I'm engaged with the process, and now, of course, I get to share it in a way that I only dreamed of a couple of months ago. So I am more than okay.
Magic, magic. So,
Yeah.
see your cap because I altered a wee bit of the graphics. Could you turn your camera a wee bit up so we can see the top of your head? It's because I've changed the graphics on my screen just so move up a wee bit so we can see.
How's
Yes,
that?
perfect. That's
Can you see
perfect.
me now?
It was. I know you can't see it, but I changed some
Oh,
things on my screen. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying yes, and thank you so much for. I mean, during the process, you had kind of stepped forward and did this before we even talked about it. You started doing the sessions within there and offered things to people. And as I say, everyone in the group I feel are already offering their specific gifts and doing this mentorship. What this is more of a spread, like more regular offering of what you bring for the group as we expand. So before we get into that, I'd like for you to just share a little bit about your experience since the 12th, or when did you, I think it would have been the 12th, the first webinar, the 12th of January, and
do you
then
know
we
what? I've
began on the
told.
19th.
Oh, it's gone so fast, hasn't it? I think the first Zoom session when we came in, it was like I don't know. I wasn't expecting anything. I think I wrote today. I came in with zero expectations. I didn't know you. I didn't know your work. I hadn't been on Daily Detox. I was given a link to Shanine by a friend, and you appeared on a Zoom, and then I just started crying for no apparent reason. Tears were pouring from my eyes. Not used to crying like this. I didn't understand what those types of tears were at the time. Do now, and I just felt compelled to. When you mentioned the New Earth Mystery School, I there was no question in my heart that I was going to do this. It was like I was compelled. I'm not compelled. It was my soul showing me the way, obviously. But at the time, I didn't really understand. And I came into the first Zoom with no expectations. And what happened was I was crying. And then you did a channeling. You brought some channeling through, which was very powerful. And then you read something by Neil Donald Walsh from Conversations with God.
Mm.
And it's a book I read many years ago, before I would say I was fully conscious, when I was in the exploration phase of awakening. And when you read it, something remarkable happened, and my heart felt like there was lots and lots of energy, many forms of consciousness literally coming within me and weaving inside my heart like a ribbon was coming in. And then during that session, during that Zoom, I didn't stop crying for 3 hours. It was pouring out of me, and my
Mm.
heart exploded. The heart that I have, and I have had heart openings. I've had a massive journey. Anyone that knows me will know I've had a huge journey. If you come into NEMS, you'll hear about it. It's been multidimensional. I've done a lot of exploring and a lot of inner work, and I would have said I was I was working professionally, and my heart was open, except there was parts of it that were still in shadow.
Mm.
And that opening brought me into my divine feminine grace, into a gentle, peaceful space of divinity, which I hadn't previously felt, or maybe I just had the beginnings of it. And that night, I went into a space after the Zoom, and the simplest way to describe it is it was a near death experience without the death component. And I went into a divine space through some kind of bridge, like a light tunnel. It was very colourful, and I ended up in a space where I had a life review. And that life review, when you describe these things, it happens out of time, out of linear time. So I saw how every action of my life, and it's impossible to convey, because imagine every action that you've ever done. It doesn't make any logical sense.
No.
We have to work beyond logic here. That I saw the actions of the things I'd said, the things I'd done, and the positive, and don't just positive, negative, but with certain outcomes. And I began to understand how my thoughts and my behaviour had had huge impacts on my life. And I forgave myself and everybody else for every action that had ever taken place, and came out of it in this completely new space, like I had been reborn into a new process. And I was like a newborn baby, all open and raw, crying all the time, with yet not having a mental breakdown. It wasn't like I was sad or depressed. I was just raw and open and in a process. So that was how I came in. That very first Zoom was like diving into a pool and not knowing where it's going to go. And it just continued. It just continued. It was that was the first step of a very deep journey for me.
Mm. It was, yeah. I'm trying to think. I think the only thing I remember about the first session is the words from Conversations with God as well. And I might cry if I say it, but is I remember the very last words, because it's funny, but like for people who don't know, when I go into that state, I'm aware in the moment, but afterwards it's like a dream, and then anytime pretty much after that, it's completely gone. But I remember I have sent you nothing but angels. That was the last part of the quote. So it was talking about our whole lives and all the things we see and all the things that we judge and all the people we judge and judge ourselves. And it was like, yeah, I've sent you nothing but angels. There's a long quote, but it's so beautiful. Just so beautiful that everyone that we encounter are angels in disguise, and especially the ones that you don't think are. Everyone and all things are divine, just in different clothes and playing different roles. So that was powerful, powerful. And was so yeah, you didn't know it also happened so quick, my God. It was crazy. So it happened so quick. So it was a few days. It's like so many other people as well. They just didn't know why. They were just drawn to it. It's
Very
like me. For me, it happened in 12 days. Literally in 12 days. It came, and then all these people. So what so in that time, tell us a little bit about what transpired, what shifted over. So that was the first week. What kind of happened? I know there's
So
so many, but you could pick like
yeah, I did for once, because I normally work just off the bat, just channeling, but I know that today it's very, very significant, and the impact for people. So I know, because I'm emotional and I might also transcend a little bit and channel, I've made some notes, which is a rare
good.
occasion
This
for
is
me.
good. I like it.
I've
Very
been
organized.
I am. I've been very organized. I've been super efficient the last couple of days. That's something else that's changed. Is
And
I've been
I had
fast.
to read your introduction. Normally I do introductions on the flow, but I was like, okay, I'm reading this. I'm reading this. So we're both doing it today.
So the main thing was I came. So all the previous processes that I've done. Um, to give context, I had an awakening experience in 2012. It was very strong. I pushed it under the carpet, tried to carry on with my regular life. Your spirit can't stay quiet for these things. When you have a purpose, it cannot stay quiet. In 2016, it erupted. My awareness erupted into multidimensionality, and the life that I had, that I woke up in, crumbled. And I went into lots of different processes to try and understand what was happening to me, because it was quite confusing a lot of the time, and I was receiving signals that I might be experiencing mental instability, and that I was exhibiting certain types of behaviour that might be associated with mental illness. So I needed to understand, because I didn't feel like I was having any kind of, experiences like that. I felt that they were quite grounded. I needed to explore what they were, and also the healing abilities and the psychic abilities which were coming up, and I was using. I wanted to understand them. So I was exploring them in other groups. So I have been through other processes, and I was aware I have had a daily practice of self-development. I've been doing all of the right things. I've been doing the inner work all the way through. But what I noticed was, after having been through the first session, is that I had done a majority of that work through the divine masculine, through the part of me that was very, very strong, the very capable part of me, the logical part of me, the organizer part of me, the one that when I get knocked down, I get up again, I dust myself off and just keep calm and carry on. And I will just keep on going. I will keep on going. A lot of it was about fighting. I had some kind of issue with the world. I was self-sabotaging from a place of shadow. I was making people the enemy without knowing this was going on. So the biggest thing for me has been becoming aware, and I did know the logic, but actually practically becoming aware of how strong the subconscious shadows that drive us are and where they drive from. So I worked with, particularly the victim, the one where I'm always the martyr. Something goes wrong, where something happens and I'm compressed and I can't express myself. Fear, lots of fear. Grief, because I had a lot of grief for the life that I had. Also grief for my childhood, grief for all of the things that I wanted to be, and I wasn't, because I wasn't expressing myself. All sorts of things came up there. Trauma, all kinds of deep traumas, including ones that I wasn't even aware of, where this is how it happens when you're in a group environment. We'll come up and talk about that in a minute, why this container is so important. So we're not doing this individually. These things were pushed up not only by my own inner work, but by other people in the group were catalysing this, and you were catalysing it too. A lot of lack, unworthiness, being too much, being too bright, being too amazing, because my light is really strong. I'm shining, I'm into purpose. I have so very much to give to the earth. And I felt like it was too much because people were triggered and catalyzed by me. So I blamed myself. Love is pain. The power thing, that I was afraid of my power. I had too much love. How can you have too much love? But
Yeah.
that was a shadow.
The world tells us, the world does tell us, you're too much, you're too emotional, you're too this, you're too that. Yeah.
To this and to that. Accepting love, and learning to accept love from other people. And the whole thing with perceived betrayals from other people, the way I perceived events, to get a better perspective of things, and people trying to control me. So these were all the major shadows that came up, the very common shadows. But, they had seriously formed many stories, many kind of reality goggles. You've spoken about it on the show, that when we have these subconscious drivers, they are forming like space helmets. They're forming goggles by which we see the world, and we end up being in this kind of like fishbowl. It is a fishbowl. It's a fishbowl because when you try and look through the curved glass of your reality goggle, it distorts the outside world. It distorts the actual reality of the world that you're in. So people can speak to you and say things to you, but it's all been filtered through these layers. So what you get can be completely different to what's actually happening. And we're all doing this. So yeah. I began to see how we're all doing this and all doing this dance. And the greatest purpose on this planet would be, for me, the ideal is if everybody on the planet had none of them, no goggles, because then we'd see everyone as they really are. And I feel that's what I started to do. About midway through the process, I lifted so much that I could begin to see even people who had severely challenged me, because I was also in forgiveness, in complete love and acceptance. And that gave me freedom. That allowed my heart to open even more into feminine grace. So things started to happen. When I saw myself, I no longer saw that I was too much, and I no longer saw that I didn't deserve this. I didn't deserve love. I didn't deserve this feeling of joy. I didn't deserve all the skills that I have, the vision, the ability to see things, that's awoken within. It's within all of us, but it's just happened that it woke, and I was ashamed of it, so I kind of like would try and shove it back down in the container and pretend that it wasn't really happening. So I didn't need to do that anymore. And it was actually Shanine, in about the third week, she said something to me. She did say a lot of lovely things, and you were witnessing me. You witnessed me in the groups when I was really falling apart, and I really was falling apart. Like, some of this shadow was very, very challenging. And she said, I wrote it down. I'm going to try not to cry reading this. I was really, really emotional. She said to me, so Shanine, if you're watching, these words changed my life. Suzanne, you speak from no ego. You express from the clearest, purest place in your heart. And it just hit me as I'm listening to you now. It was simple. Because when she spoke, and I know Shanine speaks from a pure place, from a totally pure place, you both do, it went in. It had to come from a woman.
Yeah.
It went straight in. So you the divine masculine, the wounding that I had was a divine masculine wound. The biggest wound that I had was divine masculine. But I'd also been wounded from the woman. So you opened the deepest part of me, and then Shanine came in and went... Mm-hmm. And I began to accept myself as I am. And that then catalyzed me in working with self-love. That was the other thing. You were helping us to work with processes of self-love. So I started to take that seriously. and to every day honour myself instead of just going, maybe I'll do it, to actually have some process and self-discipline. I made a little altar, and instead of it just being a general altar, I started to write the qualities that I would like to be expressing to the world, the things that I felt that I wanted to see in the world. I started to write gratitude. Instead of just giving it lip service, I went deep into it in a meditation every morning. I actively worked on forgiveness. If there was anyone in my field, these are things I'm doing to this day, and I'll do forever, ever, 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 because it all this is about delayering. It's about opening back to the person that we really are, because we're already that person. We're just kind of, like you say, forgetting. So that was the main things. I became aware of the group. I've always been aware of the group consciousness, but with the container that we've got, we'll talk about this. It was so powerful, like indescribably powerful. And I do lots of group work in other groups, but this one was like 10 times power. It's like someone had put a battery power underneath us all, and we were instantaneously remembering connections, pretty much just getting psychic skills straight away, remembering light language, channeling. It was like things were just, it's crazy because no one would really believe you.
No, unless they've seen it.
You just had a dinner party where you were just with your friends, you'd be like, oh yeah, all this stuff. By the way, all this stuff happened today. They'd be like, what science fiction book have you been reading? But this was really, really happening. And of course, it's funny looking back on it now. But when you're in it, it feels like it's going so fast. It's a little bit like you're in a film, but you know that the film is now real. The dream is the reality, and the dream is now stepping into a state of flow. So synchronicities began to appear everywhere, like every conversation pretty much. Numbers started to appear, the 4/4s, the 1/1s, 2/2s. It was all the time. Like I'd be driving down the road past the digital clock, and it'd say like 2:22, and I would just be like, how can it be? And then I'd think of something, and then someone had messaged me from the group and gone, oh, I've just thought of this thing, but I thought about it because it was in the field. So we entered into a space where we are in a coherent, energetic quantum catalyzation field, and I've theorized about this because of the galactic work I've done, the galactic awareness, my teams in other dimensions and spaces that I remember working in these fields. This was a big part of the training and remembering, and I wanted to bring this to Earth, and I'd started doing it in small groups, but this was like the actual evidence that the universe was showing me, the evidence that this is actually the reality, the quantum field, the quantum state where we co-catalyze each other at an accelerated rate is actually really happening, and it's really affecting our lives, and goes on to catalyze the things that we do and change the Earth. It's actually having a physical effect on our lives. So it's not even like we're just sitting pontificating about it. This is something that's actually embodied.
Yeah.
It's real, it's grounded, and it's just totally changed my life. It's changed how I am, everything. And yeah, I've spoken a lot there, but it really just wanted to convey the nubs and the bolts of what I worked on. The breath work.
That was big for you.
Session. You only did one session in this group, but I tell you what, that one session, I did do it lots of times, but that one session live was life-changing. Is it all right to speak about it?
Of course it is, yes.
Right. So, Martin's a breathwork practitioner. Everyone watching this understands that. We had an amazing guy on yesterday who just totally inspired me.
Oh, he was amazing, yeah, Alan.
Just amazing. So the breathwork, for me, I had had some issues over the last few months because I am a multidimensional being and I am embodying a like a simultaneous awareness of being in other spaces, in other realities. And part of that has been that as you ascend, as your vibration increases and you can enter these spaces in a more everyday way, I was getting kind of caught coming back in my body, like something was catching, and that was actually causing me to have kind of like seizures and funny things happening with my energy where I would like shake and feel like I was going to like pass out, and it was actually quite severe. So I know that there are other people that you know and I know where this has happened. So this is an actual ascension symptom. It's something that does happen, and it's caused, I understand now, by like a differentiation in the light body, so in the fields. So the breath work for me, as I was breathing, I went out of my body. I went totally out of my body and I went into this other space. I was met by a future version of myself in light body. And this future version of myself, to cut a long story short, connected me with a consciousness, which is, we're bearing in mind that this is all self-created. We're not talking about people arriving in spaceships. We're in a total multidimensional quantum, reality. So it connected me with divine light consciousness, divine light awareness, the unified field of conscious awareness. And in that moment of connection, which you can't hold, we can't hold this.
No.
It was as if I knew and could access anything. And it was like, if you've watched like The Matrix, when he's in the white room and he can access anything at any time. I was in that space. It wasn't a white room. It was just like light, like glittery, like you can't describe it because it doesn't exist on Earth. It's like when the sunlight hits the water, but 10 times brighter. I could just pull any information out, but I knew that I couldn't take it back yet because our frequency isn't such and the coherence in our light field isn't such that we can contain that connection yet. It was really, really, really switched down low, like a cooker switched down. And when I came back in my body, I really found it difficult to get back in my body. You had to help me because I couldn't feel my physical body. My body had gone so high in its vibration that it didn't have any actual feeling. It felt so light that I knew it was my body and I could see it was my body, but it had no weight at all and it was slightly invisible, slightly see-through. So it was a very, very profound experience. What happened afterwards was all those seizures stopped. Everything stopped and it's totally aligned. And as a result of that now, I can bring through the information, the channelings, the healing. I feel totally connected. It's like all of the work that I was on the verge of in that one session suddenly clicked in because of all the work I'd done behind it. And so it was completely pivotal session for me.
It was
Yeah,
powerful.
and for a lot of people, but for me it changed my life because obviously the service that I'm offering requires me to be an empty vessel. So I can't hold on to any of the information just like you, but I'm now becoming more of a vessel so I can just relax. I actually don't need to worry about anything.
That's what a beautiful way to be. And I love the way you described it there about the things happening in the quantum field and like if you were telling your friends. I remember in the channelings that came before it started and what they were talking about, these abilities, these latent abilities and these things that we would think of as miraculous or superpowers or seen in super, and like I seen those things and I'm like, oh, this is good. But when you really experience and people are turning up on a video and they're saying, yes, this happened, and then saying like it was really, they were really talking about the things that came through, and it was just amazing. And people that didn't have those experiences before, you'd been quite like experienced with this type of thing, but there were some people that had zero, and then they were coming, and these things were happening within a week or 2 weeks. And even for me, there were some things that was happening. I was just like, oh my, I've dropped the word unbelievable, so I'm just going to delete that. It's just now it's become reality, embodied, real. And nothing surprises anymore. Nothing. Even the other day, you were sharing something with me, and before that would be just like blow you out of the water, like what we were talking about. And I was like, okay, I felt it in my being like crazy, but
it's cool.
But it's just amazing. It's happening. It's like, it's not, like you said, it's not theoretical.
No.
And it's
it's
direct
real.
experience.
It's totally real. And I know you're going to have people on later in the week who have gone from really standing start. So it's important to say, and I was talking to a client this morning who's thinking of coming in, just how so many people had gone from really feeling, unworthy, like literally sitting there going, do you know what? We've got videos from week one of people being catalysed and saying, I don't know why I'm here. Yeah. Do you know what? I just feel like everyone else is better than me. Everyone else knows everything more than me. They're all more holy than me. They're all more divine than me. They're all more conscious than me. So why am I here? And now they are like, there's some people embodying consciousness that is so powerful that I find it hard to embody, to mirror it. So it's everybody, every single human is a divine being. We all carry the same qualities, we all carry the same potentials. And one of the things that happens in this group is because there are some people who really are in a kind of a bit further down the road, and there isn't really this. I just want to really stress that there isn't a further down the road. It's just we're trying to explain it in a linear way.
Yeah.
Because you can go from zero to fully awake in a second. This is the quantum reality.
Exactly.
That is what's being illustrated to us, is that we're in a multidimensional, rapid ascension shift. But what this work does when you're with Mystery School, and what you're bringing is that instead of it being up in the clouds somewhere, instead of it being a process that takes you out, where you become ungrounded, where you lose yourself in the maze, where you are attributing your power to other people or ascribing it to something else, we're bringing it into the body, we're bringing it into reality, we're bringing it into a grounded state, and we're understanding that you and me create our reality. We are the universe, and that we're not separate. We're in a co-creative field, so we can go so quick, but also we're really, really grounded. And that's why I love working with you, and I love the New Earth Mystery School, because of course it's what I am like, the embodiment of the process, really. Yeah. Of what this is. And it's such an honor. I made a promise to myself back in November last year. I was working as a facilitator. I was still working into Be Abundant. I had a full-time job that paid me £8 an hour. I was working so hard. It was care work. It was very, very challenging. I then come home and I do all my facilitation work. And I got to a point and I got guidance. And the guidance was that I should go into service, and it was so strong, and I had to have faith. And it was that time where you have to let go, and you've done it. You get to a point in a wall where you just have to let go and trust. And I did trust, and where it led me is here. The trust led me here. So if you're in that place where it all seems a bit strange and you don't know where you're at and you're confused and you want to change your life and you don't know and you're not sure how, this is the place to do it, because it's unscripted. There's no rules. That you are yourself. You are loved as you are. You are seen as you are. It's like the dream that you dream of a new earth is real, and it's here. And this is what we're creating together.
Beautiful. That's how I feel. And I love when you were speaking there, it came to me, Ananda came to me there, how they described like the people on like linear, even what I'm doing there now, it feels like, our language is so limited, but how they described it is like, if you think about in a school, like an earth school, normal school, is like you've got young children and you've got children at the end. And the young children are no less worth or value than the people at the end of the school. They're just at different stages of awareness. And the only difference in what we're talking about here is that the early school person could, like you said, they could jump right to the end. They don't have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like, and they're the same value, the same worth. They're equally, valued, and they're all one, but they're in different stages of awareness. And yeah, those stages can drop in an instant if it's right, if it's meant to be, and they want it. That's what can happen.
Yeah, well, I was talking to somebody last night who's in the group who was like that, and I sat, I worked with their primary guide and another guide that came to them, and I was under no illusion that I was sat with a master. No illusion whatsoever. I could see it was really evident, and what's more is they felt it for the first time. They embodied it and felt it. So we are here. When we talk about these things, they do sometimes at the outset seem like foreign concepts, and this is one of the things that I want to bring, in the work I do with the mentorship, is to really work with these concepts of multidimensionality and to work with the deeper understandings of what that really, really means in our lives, because it's not an esoteric concept, it's not a cerebral concept, it's an embodied reality. And when you embody the reality in present awareness, magic and miracles become your everyday life. Life is joyful, and it's hard sometimes. God, the amount of times we've been crying, you shadow, and it's just like you've been on and you've been so honest. That's the other thing about the group is authenticity, because one of the things that I felt coming in, it was a belief that I had, being someone that works in I've got a Facebook page, I do posts, I do all kinds of things. I wasn't putting myself out there because I was afraid of persecution and I was afraid that people would think I was crazy and all those stories. And I was afraid to be authentic and show when it's a struggle, why it's a struggle. I was showing the good bits, the happy bits, but I wasn't showing the real gutsy, strong, hard bits. And this process has just completely whopped that out of the water. So I am what I am. I have no fear of sharing it. I know it's my greatest strength, is like being vulnerable, because so much of life, look here on Facebook, it's, we have to get dressed up to even go on camera, or your selfie has to be in a certain way, and we only share like, oh, here I am having such a great time, I'm so amazing, but that isn't the reality. Some days we feel like shit.
Yes,
We
exactly.
really do. We can't get up, we can't function. Sometimes the ascension symptoms are so strong we can't even think. We have mountains, we have relationship mirrors in our faces, and sometimes we just get stuck in a hole and we just simply don't know which way is up. We feel like we're on our own, there's nobody else that understands. And this is the reality, and we need to understand that we're all of us going through that. So the authenticity thing for me has been you've really showed me through your own example what it means to be a way shower, what it means to stand up front, stand up tall in your strength, in the experiences that you have, and unashamedly share it in vulnerability with the world. And now I can do it. Now I can do what I'm supposed to be doing. I can work in service.
Freedom,
It's
freedom, freedom. That
It's
freedom
so
to be yourself always. That's what we offer. That's what we are. And whatever that looks like, that's what we accept and love.
So yeah,
So,
just small things.
yeah.
I
So,
don't-
so your main, so the word, what's encompassing what you're going to be bringing in one word is going to be integration. This is what we talked about, and I love this because I feel like I talked about Alan yesterday. Like the integration, especially with breath work, is that a lot of times we have these huge experiences like the one that you had, um, and there's not integration with it, and people that was different with you, but if people don't have a strong practice or someone that they can support and someone that can support them or someone that they can go to that understands and important again within the New Earth Mystery School, the accountability was so important because in these groups people can get left away and they're doing the thing on their own, but we created groups so everyone had their accountability partners, accountability groups. They were all in the same, so one's in Canada, one's in America, one's in the UK, Germany, all over, and then they kept you accountable. But integration is that's part of the integration work as well. But tell us a little bit about what the integration work that you shall be offering and are offering.
So well, all kinds of things. I've got a lot written down here, and I haven't got had time to formulate it yet because obviously when we're going to go into the group situation, what happens is that I noticed in the last wave was that there seems to be like themes that arise,
Yeah.
like each week there's a wave and there's certain things that arise within the group, and that's catalyzed as in real time. So it's I'm mindful that I'm going to be working with whatever comes up, and I already know because we've discussed it there are going to be some particular themes that perhaps come up for people to work within this wave. So I'm going to be offering certainly how to navigate multidimensional awareness, how that is embodied in tools and understanding and practice. Light language, which is obviously a massive, massive part. We'll talk about it in a minute. It's a huge part of what I do. Leading with that into authentic expression, into creativity, and what that really means, what it means to be free within yourself, and the blocks that we have towards the expression, where that comes from, what keeps us small. It ties into all the shadow work that you do. The relationship to yourself and the outside world, and all that thing we spoke about before about reality, who creates your reality. I'm going to do a whole session on the reality goggles, and particularly when we perceive certain elements of the universe coming and acting upon us, and why and how that works in a grounded kind of psychological way, and in a theoretical way, and then in an embodied way. So we're working not just in process, we're actually working through a full understanding of what's happening to us.
Yes.
Because
Important.
I think when we do, we lose the fear of everything, pretty much. Rediscovering the play, because the play element's important, because we can get this thing, and I call it in my training spiritual seriousness.
Yeah.
We're just so serious. It's so serious, this ascension, that we get stuck in this. I've got to do this every day, and the thing that I've loved in this last wave, is you get up in the morning and you're like dancing around and you're like doing your shamanic dance, and it's like we just wake up and we have fun, and we rediscover play, we rediscover what that means, and it is part of the embodiment process. So we'll be looking at boundaries and discernment, so setting personal boundaries, what's acceptable, why sometimes we need to learn to say no, how that unfolds, how we can do that in a conscious way. So we're then watching ourselves, and third eye, looking at our third eye, and why it's not just about your third eye. Yeah, because that's another kind of misconception, and how that plays into the light body. So people that want to understand a bit more about what's going on, we can look at that. I've got a very solid understanding of that process, and about letting go, meditation, presence, all those things. They're all about integration. So all of the things I mentioned is about taking the experiences that you're having and then understanding what's going on, so you can basically enter the flow, lose the fear. Your everyday life is a magical experience, and it ties in with all the other amazing things that all the other beautiful, amazing people in our group are doing. So we're all working together. We've all got like I think we're all just basically telepathic with each other or something.
Absolutely. I've had just incredible experiences with that. And you just reminded me of how much fun it was, because me and Lise and Angelo do these dances, but mostly we did them on our own. And then part of the New Earth Mystery School, we come on and we did the energy activations, and some of it was like proper like breath work and like, but most of it was like dance, not caring what you look like, just up out of bed, and we put it on as part of that process. And it's so important, that play, because I didn't see it in any other programs, especially around this. It's like, oh, we got to do, we've got to really do the hard work. But that doesn't say that we don't. We do we can go from that to go to the deepest shadow work and work with like deep traumas. But that's the reason that we can do that with such lightness, is because we are light, and we are free, and we don't take ourselves too seriously, and we know that it's a dance, it's a game. The whole thing is a game. It's a dance and a play of consciousness, and that's amazing. And I'm so happy that you're going to be sharing it, and it's so powerful. And one thing I want to say, for anyone that's maybe watching, they don't know a little about the New Earth Mystery School, because a few people have messaged me about this, and it's like they said, do I need to be a healer, or do I need to be a channel or light language to join this? I want to say, for anyone that's watching now, the group of people we have is so diverse. It is amazing. It's just amazing. I would love to have a list of like what the people do, because it's like they work in corporations, we have teachers, we have people that stay at home parents. There's just so many different things. There's no requirement whatsoever on that. So I just wanted to say that it's not just all of that. Those elements are all there, but there's people in all work, and it's not like you have to be doing what we do. It's and people can attest to that are there.
Yeah, they could be feeling like you could be like watching this, feeling like your life's really not in flow at all, and that you've actually got loads and loads of stuff going on, and you've got you just have nowhere where to look. You don't know what you want, and I would say this is definitely the place, because you are going to be completely held. I think the tears are coming. I know that in this journey, there are times when I have been very close to taking my own life, and because I felt that I was in that hole, and it's recent, as recent as last year. So we're gone from the darkest shadow to the lightest light. Yeah. So there's everything in between. And it can feel at times in this world that, the outside world might seem like a very testing place, that there's no way out, that you feel like you don't know where you're at, that there's so many different perspectives on consciousness. There's so many different places. There's people telling you X, Y, and Z, and that they will promise you and swear blind that is the reality, because that's their reality. And it's confusing. It can be very confusing, and you're having experiences and you feel like you're on your own, and that you've got nothing to offer. And especially if you feel like you've got nothing to offer, then that is a signal to you to come in. It is, because it's a trigger.
Yes.
And if you're being triggered by this conversation, if you were triggered by the things that go on in the detox, these are the reasons for you to come and do this process, because you're held by people who allow you to be completely undone, completely seen, as you are, and you are loved for who you are, not for the expectations of anybody else or your own expectations. You're just loved as you are, and you're seen and witnessed as you are. And that is a healing process in itself.
Absolutely, and such a powerful experience to witness it. Like it was co-created. Like, as I say, I didn't know what was coming either. I was just like the messenger, as I am. I'm the messenger, and I didn't know, but it just grew. So it was like instantly. It was like in a week. It was like everyone felt so comfortable. Everyone was just turning up like as they were, bedhead and no makeup. Some people in the bath, and like people doing things like that they would never do in groups like before. Even no, they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't show it. They probably would never do it in social media, even share with their friends maybe. And they were doing, and I myself included. It was just magic. It was magic, and it's been. We're just part of this, and I say I'm facilitating, but I truly feel and know that I'm just part of this whole movement that's moving through us and moving with us. And it's ease. It is real ease and grace. It doesn't mean it's without not without challenge. It definitely will bring challenge, 100%. And I say this to everyone as always. If you are thinking about doing this and you think it's something easy and you think it's something that's going to just be another walk in the park or something, a plaque that you can put on the wall, it is definitely not for you. It will challenge you to your core. This process will challenge you to the core, and you will feel deep love, and you will remember more of who you are, and you will see yourself in others, and they will guide you and assist you and help you. And now we have even more support. We have even more, because I believe and I know every single being that was in that first wave are mentors, our guides, our assistants for everyone else that's coming in. And what we're talking about here with Suzanne, firstly, is that she's going to offer regular support, regular shows, and really deep integration work for what is needed, because we know that this is going to expand. And thankfully, I have let go of all my, well, not all of them, but being able to look after myself and ask for help and ask for support and accept support, like, is a big journey for me. Like say, you'll see if you come in, you'll see all of me. You see all of me on here as well, but in there's more of my stuff, because everything gets triggered. The shadows come. You really know yourself there, so it's powerful. It's powerful. So I'd like to go to the art and light language now. So we
Wow.
have some incredible artwork that this incredible being beside me here. I don't want to say does that you. What would I say? Facilitate? How would I say that? I don't know what the word
Okay.
is.
So
Channeled art.
the light language
Yeah,
is
and the yeah.
it kind of comes in two waves. It's we're decoding the vibrational information which is all around us. So on some level, our light bodies, in the same way that when we're a conduit for consciousness and speak English, which is what I've done it backwards. I've done light language and then English consciousness.
Mm,
So we're becoming our own higher self masters in that respect and embodying all this different consciousness. The codes are the same. They're just all around us. There's codes in a leaf, there's codes in a tree, there's codes in a banana,
mm,
but there's also codes which act with our DNA on many, many levels in multi-dimensional spaces to bring us kind of into a shift, into a higher alignment of all the greatest sort of expression of who we are. So we're doing that, but also we're remembering our own innate communications as well. So these are communications which we have had in other spaces. And again, I'm using this term loosely because I understand that in third dimension, in this dimension, we're having linear time. But in reality, it's possible that we're just not in any time at all. There are different perspectives on this. So if we say that we're having a linear experience, these would be regarded as past life languages, as ancient earth languages, languages maybe from other planets, from other spaces as well. So light language is expressed in many forms. It can just be silence.
Yep.
It can just be that you emanate this energy, and the energy, I would see it as geometry. I would see it as vibration. Perhaps sometimes I might hear it as tone, as song. I hear harmonics as well, and harmonic waves, all sorts of things. And so people, when they express these vibrations, they're expressed sometimes as silence, sometimes as emanation, sometimes as movements. Sometimes just it can come with an English word, but there's a whole lot of energy behind it. You know, we know someone in the group that does that. He writes poetry and he's connected with nature, but when he speaks, he's also bringing a very powerful ancient form of connective, a reconnective light language to nature. So there is so many forms. There's movements. There is then, you know, spoken, song, word, and tone. And then obviously there is artwork. There is the way that we express through creativity, dance. This is all light language. It's just a form of expressing the vibrational nature of creation through our human form in a way that communicates to people.
I'm so glad I put that across to you to explain how beautiful. That was amazing.
Yeah.
So I have the 3 New Earth Mystery School and then the other 4. So where would you like me to start?
Right, so if we go for the first 3, so I'm going to just explain to you, because there's going to be people watching this that maybe haven't started or never done anything before. So we're just talking about where the origins were. And the origins for me started as a breath work, actually. Funny. Right, so
Magic.
when it first came to me was I was in a cacao ceremony and I did holotropic breath work for around about an hour. In that ceremony, I whooshed out of the universe like you do on a Saturday afternoon, just for casually. And I was met by these plasmic kind of light beings that didn't have a solid form, that we kind of know as the Oraphim. They're like an angelic form. And they said to me that I was going to bring a language back to Earth that hadn't been on Earth before. Now, I wasn't at the stage I'm at now, and I thought that that was bonkers, and I didn't know what light language was, and I didn't understand what they'd said. And I got caught up in something else that happened in that experience, so in a way I just forgot about it, because I don't know how you can forget about something that significant. I kind of did. I got amnesia, because I was supposed to, because it actually opened up something that I had to process for a month. And then something catalysed me. I was in another workshop. I met a beautiful lady who speaks the Lemurian language, which is an ancient Earth civilization. And she was speaking, and it triggered me. It really triggered me. I started crying, and I went to her, and I think I said something like, I think I've got all this stuff inside of me, and I don't know how to get it out. And she just said, well, why don't you start right now, in the most calm and beautiful voice? And then my body started to move and I started to speak, and it did it all on its own, like I'd given myself permission to express myself in the authentic way that I do. So it kind of began like that, and I was started to speak at home privately, and I'd notice I was in the supermarket or somewhere very regular, I'd start shaking or start moving, and I'd feel like I was like muttering to myself in light language. It was very embarrassed to start with, and I thought I was weird, and I thought it was weird as well. And I got many, not just one, but lots of different things. Then I started to tone in the garden to the trees that speak to me. So to speed it up, because if you come into NEMS, you'll find out all about this. It was just quite a quick process of remembering. And then I went to Peru in January January last year, about a year before I went to NEMS. And the first code, if you bring up the first code, I was having some experiences with plant medicine. This was the first time that I drew a code.
Can you see the screen? Yeah, I'm on the right one. Yeah.
Hang on. I
Is,
can't see it, but I can
so
bring
it's the
it up.
one. It's the one with the blue diamond in the
Yes,
center. Yes.
no, not the blue diamond. It's linear writing. That's the Arcturian code. It's not the NEMS. It's just
Okay. Okay. This other one. This one then.
O1. Yeah.
So it's in blue writing, but it's codes has come through. Yeah.
It's very basic. Yes. So that
Yes.
was the first piece of written code that I ever drew.
Ah.
It just came through one morning after I'd had a journey, and I was seeing in the journeys, I was opening up to love. I was having amazing, powerful, profound experiences of opening to love again and again and again. And then in the morning, I would be writing these strange symbols, and I was seeing all these symbols and what I now know to be songs, to sacred songs. I was receiving sacred songs, but I didn't know that's what they were at the time. So it kind of moved on. If you do the second one, so it started to develop like that, the basic one,
Yeah.
and then by March, so that was in January, by the end of March, I'd come on to draw my first, what I would call, piece of very basic geometric grid and very basic code. But there was something in that I understood, and I didn't know where it came from. I couldn't read it. I just would put my hand on it and it would start to feel very strong and vibrate, and it felt like love. So it was starting to come from somewhere. And then if you go on to the next one,
Yeah.
I've forgotten what I gave you. I can, when I see it, I'll.
So the next one I've got is in a book. So
Yes.
yeah.
So what happened after that? So this was by June, July. It was starting to come thick and fast, and I basically wrote a book of code like this. It was a transcript of ancient code, basically. Some of it was Syrian and some of it was Lyran, but the majority was actually ancient like Sanskrit-like writing, and I just kept writing. I would literally get up and I'd be just my hand would move all by itself. With this stuff you have to just surrender completely. There's no mind involved. You have to allow your body to move. So that's how it kind of progressed, and it came. So I was toning, speaking, singing. My body started to move, and this year's been about allowing free movement. So now when I code, I'm doing it all at once. There's no do this, do that, the other. It's free flow. It's totally organic. It moves in the field as it needs to, and I've learned to surrender completely. So even my voice has been modified. My voice box. I sing now, and you've heard me.
Yes.
You
Wow.
know,
Wow.
I know
Yeah.
a year ago I couldn't sing, and now it sounds a bit like an opera singer at times.
Yeah.
And
I've experienced that for sure.
yeah. So that's been a modification, and also being able to relax my jaw and move my mouth and tongue in different ways to produce certain sounds and tones, which they basically to say that you're healing somebody is not quite true, but what you're doing is you're causing a movement in the energetic field, and the light body of the receiver is entraining to that frequency, and then they kind of go into the self-healing process. So it's like a wave that carries on. The way that we perceive healing might not be how we've learned in the past. So I see it slightly differently as energy. And so that was that. And then what I wanted to say is it advanced quite a lot over the last few months. Now, when we came into NEMS, what I was picking up on was the ones, that one was August. So by August, we'd moved on. That was my first grid. And that came to me, basically, it was the Lion's Gate. It's the 8th of August, which is a big energetic gateway in terms of Earth. And I do a lot, we haven't spoken about it, this would be a different detox, but I do a lot of earth work. I do a lot of work with the earth. I'm very passionate about the earth and the water. This one was for the oceans. In August, there was some activations going on the earth with the oceans, and it basically necessitated some work, and that was the work that was going on. So the triangles are basically octahedrons. They're in the ocean in another kind of density layer, a vibrational layer, and this was some coding for that. There were people, I think there's somebody watching who actually understands this because she was in the group where I brought this through. So this was where it had got to, and I didn't understand it at first, but over that month I received in meditation a lot more information, and then I started to journey, and that was the turning point for me. That was where I really went from kind of a level of where I'm just bringing it through and I don't know, to I'm understanding what is coming through, and I'm starting to work with it in a coherent way. So rather than just being passive, it was much more that I could understand the geometry. I started to see technology, access light technology that I now use in the work that I do. So it's been quite a journey, Martin. So with the NEMS group, if you go onto the NEMS code, there was, I think this was this the second week or the third week? I can't remember when we had Melissa and with the Arcturians. Was that the second week?
My God, you're asking the wrong person. I know it might have come through me, but I have no idea. I have absolutely no, that's 6 weeks or the whole period of, like, say 8 weeks, 1 week before, 1 week after. I have no idea. No.
Well, I'm
sure there's someone else on here would know.
Yeah, we had a situation in the group. It was either the second or the third week where we had a lady, and you brought through a transmission from the Arcturians for her. And I was drawing on my pad that if you bring up the one that you had, the first one with the triangle. Yeah. So I was drawing this on my pad at the time before you opened your mouth for her, and it was basically the technology that you were using. I was drawing the light technology or representation of the light technology, and then you said there was like 4 people in the group or something like that, and they all lit up. It was like everybody started to realize and remember that we were working with the Arcturian technology, and it wasn't just 4, it was more than that. It was unbelievable. They basically had, because our group consciousness had elevated together, because we're in the group field, remember, in that space. They were in the group field consciousness, not in the individual consciousness. So you'd elevated us in, like the pilot bringing the ship in, And they were coming in and communicating with us all, and it went crazy. Because you could feel that blue technology, that blue crystal inside of our hearts as a group. It was very, very, very powerful stuff. And if you flick on to the next one, that was a continuation. So they're just like this is a representation of the technology. It's a 2-dimensional representation of a 3-dimensional framework and a harmonic. The symbols around the side work in octaves and in harmonics. They're like sounds and vibrations that work alongside this crystalline technology. And if you tune into these types of things with your heart and in your heart space without really thinking about it with your mind, it acts because it's linked quantumly to a field of information. So you could imagine that these things are linked to libraries or books, and that when you look at it with your heart, the book comes to you energetically, and where it meets with you, where it aligns with you and your framework, your blueprint, it will light up and you will download the information automatically. And that's just how it works energetically. This is how we really are. This is the truth of who we are. So this one, again, this is like a song. It's a harmonic. and the strands, each strand, if you like, is like a book, and then together it makes a little library of information. And that was from the Arcturian field of consciousness that came. So
Beautiful.
these are real time things that happen. I wasn't the only person coding. There were other people who I'm sure you're going to meet later in the week who have a lot of skill in this direction as well, and a deep understanding. So there were people from this who had never drawn light language, who had never spoken any form of light language. They didn't even know what it was. In fact, they were quite skeptical, some of them. In fact, some of them thought about leaving the group because they were getting triggered that much. And now they are like bringing it through. They're bringing it through in so many ways, and it's not. It's really just out there. It's not. It's within us all. It's not for everyone. You can take it or leave it. Some people just see them as pictures. You know, my daughter's one such person. She thinks it's a right load of hook'em, and she looks at it and she likes the pictures. So if you like what you look at, then that's nice, isn't it? That's good enough. You're having it's like going to a painting in a gallery, isn't it? You look at the painting and you just think it's nice. You don't necessarily need to understand what was in the painter's mind when he painted it or evaluate it. You just enjoy it for what it is. And so I'm very open with it all. And so if you like, I've got a video for you. Oh, did I give you one?
I
Go on
think
then.
there's one more, the last one, which is
I remember.
incredible. This one is
What?
just,
I remember.
I
Is that
love.
that's I know it's Arcturian. I've just been told. I can't remember what I gave you. Let me see.
So this is an extended one. It's got on the left, it's got the blue diamond, but it's extended out to the right, and it's got yellow going through it. And it's coded.
Yeah,
I
this
love this one.
you're on a lag on my feed on Facebook, but
There
I'm
will
pretty
be a
sure
bit. There'll be a little bit between the
that
lag. Yeah.
it is the Arcturian code
This is
field, and it's that was from that group in how it extended out. So it started off as the little blue, like the little blue thing you see on the left
yeah.
is the technology, and then coming out of the top, the thing with the circles is like the primer, if you like, that comes out at the front to help integrate with the field, and all the other codes around the side were like there's some like mathematical code on the right hand side, which is interesting because I haven't seen this code for ages, so it's cool looking at it from a perspective. There's a little curve with dots. That's a harmonic, and then to the right on the full right hand side, this is a mathematical code. This is a constellation mathematical code. It's like if you like, a star coordinate made with maths. It's advanced maths.
And is this linked with Arcturus?
Yeah,
Or,
this
yeah,
is
okay.
this is it. It's like
It's amazing.
it's just a different way of expression, and it's funny looking at it from on Facebook like this, looking down on it like that, because I can see it in a different light to when I'm actually working on it graphically. So yeah, it came from the group, and it's really also created by the group because of course we are the Arcturians.
Yes. Yes.
Let's just say that with
Good.
all this, when we talk about these things, we're in an understanding that when we talk about Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, these are there's a lady in the group. I was having a conversation. I'm sitting in my room talking, and Yeshua, literally, the experience was he walked into my body, and I gave her a parable of the rose, and it was like a parable of the rose. And then Shanine told me like 2 days later, or a few days later, I was like his scene, and that I was going to channel all these things, and then Mary Magdalene was coming like the next day, and then that on the Saturday night, on I think it was the third NEMS meeting, just before my friend had come to Portugal, and she said to me, she's coming into the group, she's coming into the mystery school, and she said to me, right, well, was going to do some work with her, and I'm like, well, I've got an EMS group in a minute. I'm not really feeling like it. And then it was like, no, you've got to sit down with her. And when I sat down with her, I basically had a conversation fully embodied as Yeshua ben Joseph, Jesus. She was able to interact with Yeshua through me. I was kind of stepped back from that process, so I don't understand, what was said in that conversation, but I felt the energy and the vibration was absolutely beautiful. And then the Magdalene order came, and she had a conversation. And then when I came back into my body, I looked up, and there was a picture of a red rose on the wall of her apartment. Then that night in the group, the first thing you did was, I think it was the Master Collective, but then very quickly the Magdalene Order, and it all went sequentially, like Yeshua it was, and then Magdalene. It was like the same route. And then Paramahansa Yogananda, and of course we know that at that moment I went out of my body and into an experience with Paramahansa and Babaji, which is going to lead to some really interesting work. So these things that happen they're not arbitrary. All of this stuff is not arbitrary. Like I had a telepathic conversation in Waitrose with my mum 2 hours before a NEMS group of what you were going to channel, and I knew exactly what you were going to say. So it's like it's all good and it's all interesting, but none of this stuff is outside. We're in a group field, and we're creating the best experience that we can. This is what I feel. I don't know anything, but from the information that I receive, and certainly, through the works of people like Tom Campbell, I'm beginning to feel that we're in some kind of holographic experience where we come into this process to just understand ourselves and become self-aware at such a deep level that we create all of the experiences, including each other, including the reality. And it seems like we don't, because we still give our power away to everything. But the more that we come into the idea that we're in a flow and we are creating the reality, that the more the reality seems to get better.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. It's empowerment and knowing that you're creating.
That we're creating it. We're not, when we say Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, Cosmic Sophia, whatever, we really are talking about what we all have inside. And these are all elements of our own understanding. Well, I don't know anything. I really don't. I just know.
All we know is we know nothing. And when we stay that way, that is freedom. And yeah, it's really important what you say there. Like as channels, we talk, like a lot of times there's labels and beings and very strong connections with beings that people have ideas and stories around. But it's important to say that it's all us. And we might identify with a certain story of a certain being or a certain collective or a certain star system, whatever. They're all us, and they're all reminding us of us. If you wanted to talk in linear, you could say future or past versions of us. But in reality, it's just all of us remembering ourselves through story, through resonance, through different frequencies, and through different aspects of the multidimensional crystal of reality, which is all looking back on itself through us, through our eyes.
It's amazing. I mean, it's just amazing. It is remarkable. And I'm in constant state of wonder and amazement. And so you're going to see a video.
Yes. Let's see.
This video is like a compilation. Literally, I put it together in 45 minutes before the show. Martin gave me like about an hour's notice.
I am renowned for that, and it's all part of the process.
And so I've just put it together, and it's just a little compilation of my favourite codes. And so I honestly, I went to university and studied three-dimensional design. I do have a pedigree of being very creative, and something that NEMS has brought out in me is a completely elevated level of creativity. Like the production, my work production, my rate of production has increased. I now, after 4 years of procrastinating about what I'm supposed to be doing, know intuitively what it is I'm supposed to be doing, and the creativity has gone up. My all the stuff in on all levels, my writing. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to play, if that's okay,
So
is
yeah,
play.
because we've not done this before, you're going to do on a share screen. I need to play with the technology a little bit here, so I'm going to just check this now and see if I think if we do this. Okay, it comes as a split screen. So which one is which? The one with the delay. So if I take this off, I think we're on your screen now. Is that right?
Okay, I don't know. We're going to
Yes,
see
we
it.
are, because I can see your
Uh,
mouse moving. So it might be a little bit delayed, but yes,
okay,
there
so
we
I
are.
need to share screen on Skype, don't I?
It was working
You
because I can.
shared your screen.
Yeah, I'm looking at my own face on your computer screen now. So if you put on the
So,
video on your screen, we'll see it.
okay, right. So let's put it on here. So, guys, this is the video.
Beautiful.
That's it. Send ends with the tri-frame.
Wow, my God. There's so many I haven't seen
So
before. I
super
am like on
activated,
fire
everybody.
here. Whoa, incredible, beautiful. Wow, 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 wow. So many that I didn't see, and a few that were really familiar that I had seen before, and they really, oh, incredible. Wow. Imagine if I had to give you a few days, what would have happened?
Don't know. I don't know. I do make videos. I've got videos on my YouTube channel, and I will be doing more. But it's new because, like you and like a lot of other people that are, we're self-starting entrepreneurs of the new earth. We're doing it ourselves, and we're literally, doing everything. And we're having to learn as we're going along. So I'm learning to be a producer, a director, an artist, as well as doing all of this stuff, and a broadcaster shortly as well. So it's like
Can we talk about that?
we can,
Because it
yeah.
came to me as soon as you were doing that, or as we were watching that. I would like to, talk about that because wow, it was beautiful, beautiful. So, tell us.
Okay, wow. I wasn't
By the
expecting
way,
this.
everyone is just loving that what just went on. I'm watching the comments as we go, so we're not ignoring you guys here. Thank you so much, everyone,
I
that's
just want to
joining your
say
beautiful
thank you to
comments.
everyone as well for tuning in.
Yeah,
And I'm always at the other end. I'm the one tuning in, going, "Oh, this is just amazing! My
that's
God,
it.
you're just." Yeah, but here I am on the other side of the screen, which is kind of surreal. And
It is.
I'm getting used to it now because the thing that one of the really important things is that when I first woke up I wasn't aware, not aware like I am now. When I first started, I was as a regular person. I was, mum, family, regular life. Yeah, going about my daily business, thinking that was all right, but secretly quite hemmed in, not expressed, quite depressed, dissociating, all these things. And Yeshua appeared in my bedroom and basically, said, trust and let go. And then I had this massive light in my head, and I was like, whoa, he said to me that I was going to, the vision, I said I wasn't going to cry, and I'm going to cry now. The vision that or that was made aware to me was that I would stand on a platform and speak the truth of the universe to a great many people, that I would inspire people, that I would be a way shower, that I would be a strong, holy, embodied divine woman. And this was only 3 years ago. In a life, at that time, I was like, you got the wrong woman. There is some mistake. And I was angry, and I was like, there is some mistake, because there's just no way that I am that person. I am the person that likes to be behind the scenes. I don't like being seen. There's just no way I'd ever stand up in front of a room full of people and say any of that stuff anyway. So, and my life doesn't mean that I can't do this. And yet, just now, I'm in this process. I'm sharing this truth. I'm passionate. I'm writing a book. I'm making an abundant life from what I do and what I'm passionate about. And I live in a place that I love. I dreamed of living by the sea, and my life is different. It's evolved. There's been a lot of hardship and a lot of change. But I've come out the other side to a point where I'm freely expressed and I accept who I am. So one of the important things for me has been about freedom of expression. And because in the early stages of my awakening process, I was in a situation where I was being told that I was having a mental breakdown, that I was a narcissist, that there was something wrong with me, that all the things that I thought were love and I felt in my heart as love, as pure love, were being diminished in the environment. And it was a very lonely place. And what I want to be able to do is to give people who are having, regular people like you and me, the chance to talk about their authentic awakening experiences, their authentic journeys that they are really going on. Because when you go out and, you know, I had it yesterday, like somebody who's moved on, that your life moves on, you awaken from the dream, if you like, you suddenly have psychic abilities, or, you know, you suddenly can feel things, or you just know that there's something going on, and you feel love. I mean, the primary thing is we just start feeling divine love and honouring ourselves in a very, very deep way, and each other. So our lives that we've created are not necessarily in coherence with where we're at, and it causes a lot of issues for people. So one of the reasons for that is that a lot of people are not understanding what's really going on. There are some misconceptions that things seem weird, like, you know, like 4 or 5 years ago, if someone had have said to me crystal grid, I'd have just gone, right, bunch of weirdos, that lot.
The program on Channel 4 years ago, Crystal Maze, something like that.
Yeah, they're all a bunch of weirdos. Or, you know, talking about angels, like any of this stuff, like,
I'm the
I
same.
thought it was all bonkers. And you know, although I was into science fiction and, you know, certain interests, the way that we perceive this multidimensional reality, I would have just said you've just been taking some kind of, you know, drug or chemical, or you're making it up. And I was very, very dismissive, and I had a lot of judgment. So I can really understand that there are a lot of misunderstandings around what the quantum world is, and particularly people are very logical. You know, so the idea that the more people that share, what I've got is the more people that share, we create in a quantum field here. The more we express authentically, the more we stop trying to say that spirituality is all about, you know, light and love all the time, you know, and also to give our power away to external processes and beings. So it's bringing it back, it's stripping it bare, it's saying it how it is, it's going into all the places about Ascension that people find quite difficult to tread, some of the things that people and the subjects that people find difficult, that I've experienced the full spectrum of awareness. I had to, so I can come and do this job. I had to. So I want to go into all the places. I want to really talk to regular people to illustrate just how wide this goes and what it's like to just say, like, be washing up at you know, on a regular day, your kids are at school, and suddenly a light comes and hits your forehead and you don't feel the same anymore. Or you start having dreams and then the dreams start happening, you know, and you're meeting extraterrestrials at night and you think you're possessed. You know, the experiences are very valid, and people need to be seen, heard and felt, and I want to give a platform for people to share that, and also the people who inspire me and have inspired me, people who are really making a difference and bringing real like grassroots conscious projects into the world. I want to give them a voice so that their differences can reach a wider audience. So Raw Ascension is what was given to me. It was gifted.
I love the name.
It was gifted to me by, or made aware in me by the Galactic Council, or by the, you know, this is within ourselves, remember, by a higher part of my being. And it was literally given to me whole and complete, much like the New Earth Mystery School. It arrived. It was like, that's how the logo's going to work. It's light language. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. And it was like, okay, I actually am, this is what I am. You know, I am the light evolutionary, and I am Raw Ascension. I'm stripping myself bare here with all of the experiences that I've had, without shame, without guilt, without hiding anything away or without pretending it's otherwise, and I'm going to bring it to an arena where it will help I hope it will just help a great many people to reach stability in a time where there's a lot of confusion and unrest. So it's Raw Ascension, and it'll be coming very soon. I'll be doing shows on Facebook to start with. We'll see how it goes. And I've got to learn. Nobody taught me how to be a broadcaster.
Or me.
I just have to do it, and we'll see how it is. And the thing that I get so much growth out of, and it's happened in the NEMS, is watching people's videos, is to hear their experiences and their stories. Because when we hear them, they trigger us. And so I often get my greatest growth when I'm just sitting watching the NEMS television.
I want to say that as well. Like, we called it after about a week or so, we call it NEMS TV, because we don't have it. We haven't had a TV for years, but we had Gaia TV. But the whole 6 weeks, I think I maybe watched a Gaia show once in the whole 6 weeks, or longer than 6 weeks. We just watched people's live videos, and they were just doing these amazing things and breakthroughs. And sometimes there was tears, and sometimes there was dancing and laughter. But it was just incredible. Any day you could go on there and you know there'd be something really powerful, emotional, strong. It's like, it's just amazing. I just love it. I love it. We still do it. I still, Gaia TV, I haven't really watched at all. It's all NEMS TV now. So as you were speaking there, I'm going to speak about it afterwards. But yeah, there's something's come through for there around all of that. We'll speak about it after, because there's a lot of details that just came through there. But yeah, we need to speak about something. I can feel it. I can feel it very, very strongly.
This is a really, really, really big process. And the thing that I was going to say, the other thing about, I dropped you a line on it, is that, in the first wave, it was like we were all in this group, and obviously we're opening up now. We've made a little family, and the family is very secure. And it's been like a beautiful process. And then suddenly, you know how we don't like change.
Yeah.
Suddenly, it's like, well, you're in your little house, and it's all very nice, and you've been sitting around the table, and we're all good friends now. We've seen each other's dirty underwear, and we've left spaced out, and it's all very comfortable. And then, oh, Martin, he's thrown open the doors, and there's all these people coming in.
Not really me. I deliver the messages.
We're like, we're inviting our friends, our family, our clients into the space. And so I know everyone's feeling this. For me, the next wave is about us hitting that authenticity right head on. The bigger shadows are going to hit us now. I've got my mum coming into this group. I have my partner in this group. I have my clients, my professional clients, coming into this group, and I am absolutely 100% committed to staying authentic with my process. Yeah. So this is what it takes to be a way shower. We are setting the bar. Everyone in this NEMS group, if you're watching, I know it feels like a massive vulnerability, and it is a vulnerability, but it could also be our greatest growth. And it came through in the group that I did on Saturday, on Sunday. Sorry, I ran a Soulscape session, which is like a similar to what we do in NEMS, like a group field process. And the grid that I made, it came through. There was the never-ending rose, which is about the mountains that come being your greatest triggers, and it never stops. You're always unfolding. Mirrors. So the mirror, which is incidentally, Martin, on page 44 of the book.
Of course it is.
And the Great Gathering, which of course is heralding the beginning of the new wave of the mystery school. Yeah. So we had these, and then we were, there was other things in that, but that process is never ending, and the greatest triggers are the biggest mountains. The greatest triggers are our greatest times for growth, and that time when your heart wants to close and you feel like, oh my God, this is going to be so hard. And I did feel it. I've got to tell you, I was really, really, really triggered by it. I suddenly realised that, you know, they can access my videos. Yeah. And then I was like, you're all about authenticity. It's time.
Amazing. Powerful.
Open. And it was like, that is it. That is true authenticity. And that is what's missing on this earth. It is
Yes.
totally, totally what is missing. So it's going to be a big theme for us, I think, this time around. It's
You
authentic.
really have done it. I knew those things that what you've just said, but when you put it together there now, I've just seen that you are seriously, oh my God, you've like took it up another level. Your family, blood family, partner and work. That's literally the whole world's triggers. That's the strongest. And you told me that I didn't as when you put them together, and I was like, oh my God, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know what I'm thinking. I mean, I'm just like must be
no,
completely
no.
like
Well, that's
bonkers.
what
But
you
this is
said.
what it feels like. It just feels like that this, you know, we live in a world where we're bombarded by images which are fake. We are bombarded at every corner by fakeness. You know, that by you like manufactured food in food packets, heavily laid out supermarkets, which are designed to sell us something. Everything's highly ordered and highly designed. Shopping precincts, everything's laid out. We're bombarded with images of how we should be, what we should eat, how we should behave. You know, everything is about this fakeness. Even schools are heavily structured. They're shutting down the children. We're being taught to get dumber, not more intelligent. And so it's like we can't live like that authentically because our hearts are just compressed. They're completely compressed, and we become depressed. We stop looking after ourselves and we stop loving ourselves. So we dissociate with drugs or television or games or mobile phones or blaming each other and getting into patterns. And if we can be authentic, if we can be raw, we heal. If we go into the shadow, we heal. We love each other. We forgive. We are able to get past the things that we thought we'd never get past. We can do this, but we must do it together. This is the thing. We're a family. We're a family. And the thing that I really feel in my heart more than anything is that it's the boundaries that we create inside that form the boundaries which are available in the world. So if we break down the boundaries in a present, in a compassionate and authentic way within ourselves, then we break down the boundaries of our worlds, and that's how we form the new earth. So that's why I'm being authentic, because that's what I feel is the way forward for this earth.
Yeah, and you've set the bar up there now, and we will all be supporting you. Everyone will be supporting each and every one of us there, and that's like it's really powerful what you shared and what you're bringing here. So it's incredible.
I'm not sure where all this comes from, Martin. Sometimes it's like, oh.
It's we are free open channel. This is what it is. We are free, and we're not placing
Made that
our
perfect.
will on something that is much more for the we. It's the we. The I is slipping away. The I is dissolving, and the we are coming together. And the more that we do together in sacred spaces, the more we do together when we're out in the world, and the more the separation in those dissolves, then that's new earth. Because it can't, again, the mystery school at the beginning, it was like the mystery schools had to be secret before because it was dangerous. But what is coming together now is that the people are coming to the mystery school to learn, to remember, to grow, to take it and give it and share it, and like share it as far and wide as they can. And it's so many people in the first wave, that's what they're doing. They're creating their programs, they're writing books, they're channeling, they're doing light language, they're changing their business, they're changing their family. And it's to be take this wisdom and share it as far and wide as it can. And like that's what you're doing. And it's powerful. That is new earth, and those boundaries will dissolve as we like even just talk like this conversation that we've had this whole show, like a few years ago, that you wouldn't have had this conversation on Facebook Live, and there would have been some, but it'd be very, 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 very few. And now it's popping up everywhere. Everyone's talking about it, and because the fear is dropping away. So it's so important. The more we do it, and the more people that have these experiences and they hold it and they hide it because of fear, we offer them an opportunity, because we're talking about it openly and freely here, and we don't care. We know, we've experienced it. We don't care what people think, so to speak, that in judgment wise, because we've dropped the judgment of ourselves. And that's the opportunity we're giving people in New Earth Mystery School, in the Self-Help Detox, in the Light Evolutionary, in what Raw Ascension is going to be. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it.
So, I've got this stuff coming through now. So I know we've got time, but I'd really, really like to, on the back of that, read the very high vibrational words that I brought through yesterday, because it ties in so much to the essence of what the Mystery School is about, what you're about, what I'm about, what so many people in the group and the world are about. And this was channeled or brought through and remembered, actually. Our sister Shanine had a retreat in Spain, and as she was remembering Isis, within a very short window of time, I was also bringing through this prayer. So there's something in the field there, because I know that we're all very much connected. And so I'd invite everybody that's watching this just to be in your heart space and really feel the vibration of the words that come through, because this isn't just words. It's what I would call an invocation, which is a prayer with vibrational intent and overlay, and it comes from a place, a sacred place, a holy place, a temple. And it's actually the temple. You are the temple. You are the temple. You are the divinity. So it's a prayer and an invocation to the goddesses of Egypt who came within me and arose within me to write this. I call upon you, Isis, Sekhmet, Hathor, goddesses of love. Work your magic through my spirit, my bones, my fabric. I call upon you, mothers, sisters, daughters. I surrender in service to remember your grace. Furnish me with your blessings. I call to the stars as time would bend towards my kiss. Hear my words, spread like stardust amongst the heavens, calling to you, gentle love, blazing fire, archetype, rainbow, timeless forms. Breathe your magic upon this vessel, this holy landscape. Step into the temple of your birth. Furnish the land with your essence, your holy light of remembrance. Bring the barren into fertility, the forgotten remembered on the wind of your breath of life, your words, your magic. Conjure these seeds from all corners of the sky, that which is pure form, that which is grace. I ask for your fingers, hewn from the clay of the riverbank, to bless the treasures of life. Write your stories, etch wise wisdom, massage the codes of creation, map constellation, so each seed may furnish its potential. Sow your seeds, arms wide with benevolence, planting this field, laying carefully the soil to rest lightly upon its charges. I ask that you step your toes lightly Sing your song, voice your rainbows, your expressions into the air, so the vibration may be felt across the universe within. Your tears create rain, your smiles the suns. You breathe the wind and your love the colours. As seedlings flourish into form, I call you to come and rest here, to enjoy your creation, to tend it with care, so it may grow strong. Dear sisters, mothers, daughters, lay your head within the grace remembered, so you may dream and weave within this temple, so it may take on more life, the stars dancing in its walls, the heavens flowing in its mortar. Come rest with me and make bread and food fashioned from the products of the field. Light my fire, bring the wood to keep it burning while I sleep. Bask in the warmth of our union, bellies full, hearts wide. I call you to move and dance with me, singing to the earth in glory and smile, with the celebration of magnificence. Arise, arise. Rasuma kula kurai mia tarume, saturo ka kanisura kuyase, makila kusumata, lachrim umayate numorke, makuya lakisainwe. Mola siae, katalano usai, shaku hanu waratu, mekia osela matea, maka isua, ekasha ena usai imiata. And just take a moment to breathe in those words, feel them deeply in your heart, to ground them into the earth. Allow that truth to flow through your being, the vibration and resonance. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. That was incredible.
In fact, it's hard to speak. Yeah.
I think we just take a moment. We don't need it. We can have silence. Thank you so much for that. That was truly beautiful, truly powerful, and truly truth.
I don't think I understood the significance of that until I read it out verbally. Yeah. When I wrote it, I wrote it and released it on Facebook with one of the graphics that you saw in the video, which you can see on my feed. But I didn't understand the significance. It's the same as last year. I wrote a prayer from the Elohim, And I mean, it was several pages, this like the other one, and I was like, oh, I've just got to read this prayer in a 2-day workshop. I did it on the second day, and well, as I was reading it, I basically, transcended a room full of people, because the vibration that came, because I was reading the prayer in the name of Source, it arose the Source within everybody.
Yeah.
I feel when we have holy words, and there are other people in the group bringing holy words through, and you do too, that when they're holy and pure, that when we read them and voice them into life, we're bringing them to life, then something magical happens. And that's an illustration. Yeah. So thank you for giving everyone an opportunity, and myself an opportunity, for bringing that to life.
Thank you for
To you
bringing it
as
forth.
well.
Oh my God. So I've just realized we have gone 2 hours and I haven't even spoken to one person that's on here. So I want to say that I love every single one of you and thank you so much for all your amazing comments. We are not you're all part of this field. So I want to go through and just like, there's so many. I want to just like really what's the word? I want to call out and say hello to everyone here because that was beautiful, and just we'll let that energy sink in because that was incredible. So, so saying hello to Bonnie, Rosaline, Marie, Lisa, Jeanette, Laura, Satara, Jen, uh, Sarah, Becky, Sean, JP, Ivan, Nuala, Denise, Monica, Becky, Jan. We have Anne. Hey, Jamie, Kim. Hi, Tony. So apologies if we've missed all of these comments, but thank you so much. I know you have all been like really, really engaged and sending this beautiful energy through this group. So Tony and Marie, Sadet is here. Nevin, welcome. Welcome. We have so many beautiful comments. Gemma and Benjamin, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, oh my God, there's so much. Let's see. So I want to pick out a few comments now. So Paul, I'm just going to pick out whatever comes to me here. So, but lots of beautiful, beautiful. So Laura saying Suzanne's guided meditations and light activations are priceless. Absolutely. I believe, I know, and it is true. John is saying hello. Gemma's here. Brigitta's here. Welcome. Thank you so much. And Gemma is saying, love you, Suzanne. You're cheering me up. Beautiful, beautiful. And we're at the art now. So Lisa is saying, this one's hitting me square in the third eye. Bam. Making me a little dizzy, really. Incredible. And I hope I get this right. Constantin?
Oh, Constantine. Yeah, I think I know Constantine.
Constantine.
Amazing human being.
Dubovsky.
Oh, it's Constantine. Oh, I love you, man. I'm Peruvian. We met in Peru.
Oh, beautiful. And Amanda's here. Welcome, Amanda. Beautiful sisters. People saying 30. There's been 33 people on so many times. It's beautiful. And of course, Marie's abso-flipping-lutely. There we go. Rosalind saying, so beautiful, Suzanne. Enika saying, beautiful. You're explaining this so well. It's beautiful. So this is a good question from Jan. So she says, what is the purpose of these light languages? Why don't they, just speak in us to English? Sorry, I don't get this. And actually, you did speak in English afterwards, but it's a great question that Jan has brought there for many people. These light languages is new. So would you like to speak to that? Because it's a really good question.
Yeah. So in particular, the earth languages that we have, this is just my understanding and take on it. So it's one perspective. This is my perspective. It's not the perspective. The earth languages that we have are based on phonetic meaning. They're based on, so say like the word plate means a plate, yeah? So when you say a word, it has a meaning. And there are people who ascribe meaning to particular words of light language, and it's true. You know, some of the ancient earth languages are the same, and they do have these meanings. Now, light language, the way that this works, it sounds a little bit like gobbledygook, and the drawings are like squiggles, but it's not phonetic, so it doesn't work in the same way. So it sounds like crazy speak, but what's happening is, so with a word, say like if I say the word hate to you, that has on earth a particular meaning. If I say the word love to you, it has a particular meaning. It's in the field of consciousness, of human consciousness, of vibration. So with light language, I could say a word, I won't pick a particular phrase out, but if I speak in a certain way, it's coming because it's a vibrational pattern and a harmonic. So you could say just a few sounds, but that might contain enough information. So if you think of everything that we have as vibrational information, it might contain a book. So it's a very, very fast and rapid technology to deliver to you vibrational information that can catalyze you in ways that your brain and your thinking mind would dismiss. It works in a natural way beyond the logical mind to catalyze you into remembering, and it can be used for healing. It can be used to shift, I use it to shift real-time thought patterns. So if you say, for example, have a feeling that I'm not good enough, then I can look at you and bring through harmonic and tones and spoken language to break down that field, to break down that vibrational construction. So it does sound like gobbledygook. I totally understand it, but it's not the same. If we tried, what you're trying to do there is you're trying to say that these extraterrestrials in another place in a space, why don't they just come and speak to us in English? Because they'd have decoders. They'd be like Star Trek. You know, they'd just have something and they'd speak to us in English. And actually, sometimes they do. They do speak to us in English, because when I'm in other spaces, I have a knowing that arises inside of me, and I just know. I don't even say, like with the Arcturians, they're not like, although they do have a form at times, they just give you a knowing. You just know. There's no, we're going to speak to you and you're going to comprehend and decode it. You just know it's straight in. And so often extraterrestrial awareness, which is in a different vibrational level, is just straight in knowing. Sometimes in meetings or in encounters it can be English, but when we bring through the vibrational language on earth, it's because we are communicating at a vibrational level beyond the meaning of the word. Because if I use a meaning of the word, you'll ascribe something to it. And also there are, I don't know how many languages on the planet, but there are many languages on the planet. And if somebody say I'm living in Portugal, speaks Portuguese, they haven't got a clue what they're saying. Whereas when we are developing a language that's a felt sense language, we're entering a universal language. It doesn't matter what speech comes out of your mouth, what country you live in. If you can feel with a felt sense what's being said, then that applies to all human beings. It's the universal language of communication, my dear.
Yeah. And another example that you could give is music. Like if you look at Earth, like music doesn't have language. If it's like, people don't necessarily need to know the words of a song, but they'll touch it. Like really good music. I'm not talking about the music that's kind of all out there now, but really powerful, like strong music that's come from a real beautiful place. It's felt, and you don't need to know the words. There may be words or there may not be, but it doesn't matter. It's felt. So that's kind of like an example of a worldly example that you get the feeling of music, and this is like taking this to another level of vibration.
It's good, that is, and it's like this. I agree, because I use that analogy that it's like it's waves of music and the rate on a radio, and we're like the radio, units just learning to tune in. But
Yes.
the frequencies, it's that simple, and
Beautiful.
just how it is.
So Inika's saying, "Love it, so beautiful." I think this is the art now. We're about halfway through. So, Jen saying, "Amazing creations." Denise is saying, "Wow." Rosalind saying, "Amazing." Elise saying, "Suzanne, this is mind blowing." Sitara saying, "Wow, stunning." Lisa saying, "So familiar yet unfamiliar at the same time. It's annoying." And Ivan saying, "They're so beautiful." Marie says, "Flipping amazing." We can't go through without the flipping. uh, yeah. John is saying, "Heart is opening bigger and bigger." Brigitte is saying, "Wow." Becky saying, "They're amazing." Sarah saying, "So beautiful." Fiona saying, "Amazing lady." Sean was saying, "Wow, oh my God, love that to the core of my being. Thank you, Suzanne. Love you, sister." And Sean is coming into the New Earth Mystery School.
Also,
It's amazing. We have
hey?
more divine masculine coming in, so that's amazing. Um, so I hope, Jan, if you're still on, you got that explanation there, because that was really, really amazing.
Great question.
Amazing, and it's really good to ask that. So
Yeah.
thank you for asking that. Jeanette says, "What you're saying is so profound and Suzanne, and resonates deeply. I had to pull over to type this because an eagle flew over my car at 222." So Jeanette's in America at 222 while you were speaking your truth. So much love and gratitude for all you're doing. Amazing.
Thank you.
There's
Thank
a
you.
name.
That's
There's
one
a
of my
names moment there.
experiences as well.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Sarah saying, "Oh my God, Suzanne, this is so weird. Nearly everything you're saying is the same for me. This is like so much of this, like we just feel this resonance, this field, and that's what we're bringing up. We're bringing up for each other." Robin is saying hello. Inika saying, "And that was stunning, Suzanne. Beautiful grid and so much happening with us. Oh, this was your crystal grid on Sunday. Everyone's saying, wow, it was amazing."
Yeah, it's very
And so Denise is saying, "You're so powerful and amazing, Suzanne. Love you, soul sister." Amazing. And Robin saying, "The fear has dropped away." Yes. Joao saying, "I'm loving this video." This is Joao who we met in the park here in Portugal, you remember?
Yeah, Joelle, I'm keep trying to make me and Joelle have got this thing going on, right? Because we really need to get together to make this music. We both
Yes. There we
know
go, the music. Yeah.
make this music together, and it's like the universe is just getting us in the way. There's something that obviously needs to happen before we come together. So, Joel, if you're watching, I know we are going to get together. It's going to happen, but obviously there's a reason why we haven't done it yet. So, when I get back from Dubai in a couple of
It's
weeks,
coming.
it's coming. Yeah.
Yes. Sean is saying, Suzanne, you are such a master teacher for all. So blessed to see the authentic you. Thank you, sister. And so, Sean, I think you missed the start of it. This is what we were coming on this show to say, is that this master teacher, Suzanne, will be one of the mentors for the New Earth Mystery School too, which you are part of. So this is part of what we're doing here to say that, and it's really exciting. And I echo everything that you've said. So beautiful, beautiful. Jen is saying, "Pure eloquence in divinity and grace. Thank you for this message, Suzanne. So, so beautiful." Anne is saying, "Thank you." And Becky is in tears. Satara is sending her blessings, and Lisa's got gob bumps all over. Robin is in tears as well. So we're got to your prayer now. Denise is saying, "Thank you so much." Ivan saying, "That was beautiful and heartfelt gratitude. That was beautiful. Namaste." Inika is in tears. So, so beautiful and powerful. Thank you, dear sister, from the bottom of my heart. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Bonnie is saying, "Wow, wow, wow. Powerful love flows through this and you, beautiful Suzanne."
Funny. Oh my God. And we haven't even got to funny yet.
And
What I'm thinking is, it's hitting me. We'll talk about it after. And we knew before that this is like you're given a container, yeah. You don't know what it's for. You kind of, you're fielding it. You're a regular man who happens to be a divine man as well. And it's like we're all like this, but something has happened. Something happened. Some creation happened in this first wave, and we developed this some kind of soul telepathy of some kind between us. And I can feel Bonnie, and I can feel Melissa, and I can feel the other people in the group, and I can feel you. And it's like what I had jokingly was, because I know that my higher self is quite humorous, is it's just like, well, you've only just gone and done it. You've got all the big hitters lined up, because that's how it really is. We're coming into our mastery. I feel like I'm just starting to hit it, just beginning to hit mastery. I don't know where that's going to go. I have no idea. I'm open to having a journey just like everybody else, but I feel like there's something absolutely magical happening with this. It's so special, so unique. Yeah. We have so I can feel the whole universe, all my guides. I can see yours. It's like we're in some kind of circle here, and people are watching, and the universe is watching in on us to see what we're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely, and they're awaiting us to make our choice, to say yes to ourselves, to stand up for what our truth is, to speak our truth, to live our truth, and be so unconditionally loving and accepting and non-judging of ourselves and all others that New Earth cannot help but grow from our hearts. New Earth cannot help but bloom from our eyes and our ears, that will hear the sounds of birds and hear the sounds of wisdom and see the truth and live it and be it and see it and enjoy the boundless abundance and beauty and love that is all around us and within us. See it in everyone and everything, and you shall experience it, and it shall be so. Allow, 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 surrender, surrender, surrender. It is ease and grace, dear ones, and it's only the beginning.
This is how it goes. This is a bit like how it goes in the groups as well.
It really is. And what it is this interplay and interaction with each other. You're going to say something, someone in the group, and especially for the people that maybe they feel like this is like way out there, and I found some of the deepest healing for me in the wave one was some of the people that felt like they didn't fit in, because I remember not fitting in. I felt like they weren't good enough, or felt like they didn't know what to do, or they were just completely lost. That was the deepest healing for me. I mean, I love all of it, but some of the deepest healing for me was seeing it's relatable, and you can see yourself in another. And this interplay with each other, and that's what's so special about this group and the cohesion. And like the triggers you talk about, the trigger can come from someone who is speaking your language, or the trigger can come from someone who's saying something you have no idea what they're talking about, and it brings up within you this part of not being heard or not being understood or not understanding the world. So it's truly powerful space, and just amazing. I love it. So there's so many amazing comments here as well, but I'm it's 2:20 now, so 2 hours 20. I'm going to say that we will wrap it up here. I think just amazing. Thank you so much for saying yes to you. Thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your wonderful gifts, and thank you so much for saying yes to be part of this expansion and this mentorship program within New Earth Mystery School 2. And thank you for all of the things that you'll be bringing inside and outside of that. It's just incredible. Thank you. I'm very grateful and honored, and I'm excited. There's so much more to come.
Thank you so much, Martin. Just, I don't have the words. I tried to write some words today, this morning, and I just kept crying. I couldn't stop crying. Not because you're on a pedestal, or that I'm attributing something to you that you're not. I'm just grateful for knowing you, and I'm grateful that you're my friend and
Yes.
and my soul brother. And I love you. I see you for who you are. Your beautiful family, your son, the work that you do behind the scenes, on yourself as well, and it is felt, and it's felt by the whole group. And I can speak on behalf of everybody and say that we are very, very lucky and very honoured to have you bringing this to us and to have come across you and the work that you're bringing. So thank you. You are a descended master, as Janine said, remembering, and though we all are, but you are well into that remembering, and as a result of that, you are catalysing us, and I have been catalysed, and I am truly, truly grateful that I can now help others in the capacity that I'm here to serve to. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So beautiful. I really appreciate that. And oh my God, here, let's do it. Let's do it. NEMS 2, 30th of March. Be there. Huh? We're gonna be there. And it's
Yeah,
no coincidence, like we happen to be an hour away from each other physically. Didn't you weren't at the start, but we're both in Portugal here together. It's just amazing how everything's just coalesced in the groups. It's amazing. I'm so excited. I'm just so grateful to everyone who's joined. I know there's lots of comments. Thank you so much, everyone. It was beautiful for your interaction. Please, again, like, love, share this video. That was just incredible story, wisdom, and just beautiful gifts that Suzanne has brought there today. So please share it far and wide. And if you are interested and you feel the call, you will know. There won't
yeah,
be any doubt in your mind if you just will know that you have to come join. That's
yeah.
it.
If you've got
There's nothing. Yeah.
anyone that knows me, because this is going to go out on my feed and on my channel. So if you do have questions and you want to ask me questions, please do. And I'm going to put a link on my Facebook feed as well that you can follow. If you do want to join, you can get in
Absolutely.
there and press the link and join as well. So I'm going to be writing a bit more about my experience in a bit more depth in the next few days as well, to really, really sort of elaborate on what I've spoken about today, because it is so deep and profound, and it is time we talked about it. So thank you.
Thank you
Um,
so much. Thank you so much. It's been amazing. So I'm going to leave you, and I will see you very, very soon. I want to thank you so much again. It was absolutely beautiful as always, and can't wait to get going now. It's already happening. It doesn't we don't even but language leaves us there. But I'm very excited. I'm very grateful. So I will see you very, very soon, my sister. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Ooh. The technology is all crazy today because I don't know what's going on. There we go. Thank you so much to the amazing Suzanne, who's going to be one of the mentors. If you didn't miss it, she's going to be one of the mentors of the New Earth Mystery School Wave 2. If you are interested, you can come be part of a session on the 30th of March, 2019, 555-333 New Earth Mystery School 2. Remember, the time is now, dearest ones, to answer that call that comes from within your heart. Answer that call that has been calling you all of your life. No longer let it lead you astray. Allow it to lead you back into your heart, back into your truth, so that you may grow, so that you may expand, so that you may be a light in this world, so that you may make the change and be the change that you wish to see. Allow yourself to say yes to yourself. Say yes to the truth, and say yes to that which is the divinity that exists within every single one of you. Allow it, and so it is. So yes, on Saturday night, 5:55 p.m. On the 30th of March, we will be there, live Zoom call. Everyone can come and join. Well, the first 100 people that register can come join, be part of it, see what it's like to be in that container that was described today, see what it's like to be in that field. And then if you wish, then you can come and join. On the following Saturday, we will begin our 6-week journey again. So grateful. Thank you so much for joining. If you want to check out any of my processes and practices, there's a group called the Self-Help Detox. I put everything in there: channeling, light language, forgiveness, shadow work, energy transfers, activations, so many things. You can join that group, and we'll see you on Saturday. Tomorrow I will be back with another New Earth Mystery School mentor. And because I don't plan things, I don't actually know who it is yet. So it's going to be a surprise. You will find out. But join tomorrow at 4:44 p.m. GMT, 11:44 CDT. Self-Help Detox Daily, New Earth Mystery School. Remember. Until next time, from my heart to yours, the divine in me sees, honors, and loves the divine in you. Namaste. We are one. Love you all. See you tomorrow. Ciao.